Hi everybody! I am coming to you from my parents' lake house in Alton, New Hampshire, where I'm on vacation. And I can't wait to see you all on July 12th. For those of you who can come to in-person worship on the Common, it's just going to be so nice to be able to look into your eyes. Preaching is going to seem more like a conversation and less like talking into an abyss, and I just can't wait for that moment. For those of you who can't come, you know we'll still be online, and we'll still be having that conversation virtually, but it will be so nice to actually be able to see you in body, not just in spirit. Please won't you pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts together find their way into the heart of God this morning. Amen. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other, the poet says. I know that you all have been worrying about me these past 2 weeks because you have sent me messages and called me and emailed me to tell me so. And I so appreciate your concern and your support for me. It is truly, truly humbling to serve all of you in this hot mess time. I was honored, for those of you who don't know, to be one of the speakers at the Wachusett Black Lives Matter rally 2 Sundays ago, which was a beautiful, peaceful, family-filled event on Eagle Lake in Holden. I didn't organize the event. I was just asked to lead a prayer at the end, which I did. And I wrote about the experience on Facebook. I wrote that an attempt was made for the full 2 hours of the rally to drown out the voices of the testimonies of the people of color and Black teenagers from the Wachusett Regional High School while they spoke. Because there were these counter protesters there on loud, roaring, idling motorcycles, blasting, screeching metal bands like, I don't know, old Metallica songs that I haven't heard since the 80s. That said, with a big, huge Trump flag waving that said, like, enough of the BS. And it was loud and kind of scary, especially for the children, and many families left because they were terrified. It was ludicrous, I said. It was probably just a coincidence that my speech was not interrupted by the motorcycles as one of the only white women who spoke, but the optics of that were disgusting. At the rally, I said unequivocally that Black lives matter, and so do the lives of police officers. I said human lives are more sacred than institutions. I said that God's love is infinite, and therefore empathy for one another is infinite. We can feel empathy for the police officers who've lost their lives and their families, just like we can feel empathy for the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. And then I posted the prayer that I wrote for the rally, which was intended to unite us beyond tribe and fire, which I do believe is my job. Justice is what love looks like in public. Because we are made of God's stuff, I know that our true nature is to help pick up the lemons spilled out of someone else's grocery bag. Because we are made of spirit more than we are of group identity, our true nature, our God nature, is to hold the door, to let people pass, to give a cold cup of water to little ones, to welcome one another in the name of love. In the name of Jesus. Anyway, the angry motorcycle dude from the rally saw my post because it was shared by many publicly, and it enraged him. And so he posted it and called me a fake pastor on his own profile, and he called me many swear words that I cannot share here. And his friends piled on in agreement. And there were a mass of people that came onto his page or sent him messages to defend me and my message, and he was receiving a lot of harassment. This only led to him doubling down. Sometimes when I am angry and lashing out, it is because I am scared of losing something, maybe my livelihood or some kind of power or the surety of my rightness or righteousness. And I sensed that he might have felt fearful. And so my response was to reach out to him because we have several friends in common, and I asked him if he wanted my help. I wrote to him and said that I was no stranger to taking public stands, and sometimes it gets rough out there. And if he wanted me to say something public to make the harassment stop, I'd be willing to do so. Now, I admit that this might not have been the smartest thing I have ever done, and it backfired big time. Sometimes the gospel takes us into territories that maybe are not smart and require I don't know, maybe a little bit of, I don't know if you'd call it bravery or stupidity. He shared my private message that I wrote to him with lots of insulting words and publicly posted that I should lose my job. And in the end, I had to block him for safety purposes. I know that some of you worry that having a pastor that preaches the gospel publicly opens our congregation up to ridicule or worse, to violence, and I share that concern. But I do believe that this is what the gospel calls us to do, to speak the truth, to use love's voice to stand up for the marginalized, to welcome all in the name of Christ, to be a disciple of God, especially when it counts, to be wise as serpents, yes, but also to be gentle as doves, to give grace even to those we perceive to be our enemies. The reward, if not reconciliation, is surely a world that is a little safer and a little kinder. Now, Sterling is waging its own ideological war right now about the unrest in our country. The use of the town common for Black Lives and Blue Lives Matter rallies is the center of that battle. Because we are human, we have made the mistake of assuming that there are sides to take in this faux war. But because you and I are Christians, we stand on the side of Christ. We do our best in our words and our deeds simply to remind people that there are no sides to humanity. Only children of God, possessing great fear and also worthy of great love. We are all in this together. There is no us and them. There is only us. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire. Only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, "Here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat." Amen.